Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. In this video, we are going to create a simple PHP app to get the location or the geo information of an entered IP address. Okay, so for this, we are going to use a service. There are lots of GeoIP services out there, but I'm going to use this particular API. So it's called ip-api.com. So if I go to the documentation of this, and you can see it has the output in these many forms. So let's go to JSON, and you can see the API endpoint. So this is the API endpoint that we want. So here you can see this is the website. This is the format in which you want the output, and this is the IP address for which you want to get the response, right? So it can be IPv4 as well as IPv6. So this is just an example of how the output comes, right? So when you call this particular link, you get such kind of an output. So let's see how we can implement this using a simple PHP app. Okay, so I have already created the UI part of it. So you can see there is a text box where we will be entering the IP address, and then we will be clicking on the locate button, and then something like this should appear on the screen. Okay, so right now this is just the UI part, so it is not functional. So to make this functional, we will first see what all things we have to change, right? So let's begin first with the UI part. So this is the code that renders this particular page. So let us come to the form. So first of all, what we have to do is let's first look at the form. So this is the form that is getting the information, right? So this is the place where we are entering the IP address. So first step would be to give this a name. So let's call it IP address. Okay, so this is going to be the text box with the tag with the name IP address. Okay, and this is the submit button. So once I do this, now I can, let's handle this. So where should we send this data, right? So now for that we need to have few methods. So first let's add a method. So we can have method get or post. So let's go for get method. Okay, because there is no sensitive information as such. So let's stick to get method, and the action I will say I want to send this to the same page. So let's say index.php. Okay, so I'm going to send this to the same page. So that's it. So now if I refresh and if I type anything and if I press submit, it gives me the IP address at this particular place. Okay, so once that is done, now let's handle this once it is submitted, right? So let's come on top and let's open the PHP tag. Okay, so once we have the PHP tag opened, let's check if is set $get. So I'm just checking if that particular variable is set. So I'm just checking if IP address is set. If it is set, then I will do whatever I had to do. Otherwise I will not make any query. Okay, so if it is set, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a request. So first of all, let's first do echo, and let's just echo the IP address and see what do we get, right? So let's try. So let's put any value, and you can see I'm getting the value out here. So that is perfect. So till here everything is fine. Now let's do a query request through our API and see what do we get, right? So let's do let's say response is equal to file get contents. Okay, so file get contents, and this should be the location. So this location is going to be ipapi.com/json/ and the IP address. So IP address is coming from the form, right? So I have added that to the end. Now I have my response ready. Okay, so let's see what do we get. So let's do echo, or I think we should do var dump, because we are not sure what response we are going to get, right? So let's see var dump response, and let's do a refresh, and so failed to open stream, HTTP request failed, 403 forbidden. Okay, I think I should use HTTP and not HTTPS. Let's try it once more. Yeah, so that was the problem. So I was using HTTPS. Okay, so now after doing HTTP, you can see because my IP address was not correct, I got a fail, right? So you can see exactly what I am getting. So now let's put a real IP address. So 12.5.4.3. Okay, so let's put something like this, and you can see it gives me the exact place and everything, right? So now it's a JSON string that it is replying, right? Because we in our API, if you see, I have mentioned JSON, right? So because of that, what I'm getting response is also a string of JSON. So what next I have to do is I have to do JSON decode. Okay, so this function is used to convert a JSON string to a PHP object. Okay, so let's do that and then refresh. You can see now it has become an object, right? So now I can easily access each part of this this particular object separately. Okay, so let's do that now. Let's save it in response only, because we don't need to have a separate variable for that. So let's add that, and now we have a response. Okay, so now let's go down, and you can see this is where we are actually displaying the result, right? So this is where we are displaying the result. Let me just indent it properly. Okay, so this is the place where the data is outputted, right? But now you can see without even entering anything, I don't want to get any data, right? So that should be empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this entire thing inside an if. Okay, and you can use this syntax. If you don't want to use curly braces, you can use this colon, and whenever you use colon, then what you have to do is wherever you want to close the curly braces, you can come over there and just say end if. Okay, so I will just say end if. Okay, so that will close that braces, so you don't have to close it manually, right? And now let us put a condition. So if is set. Okay, so if there is a value in response, so if there is a value, then we will show this. Okay, so let's do this and let's refresh, and now it is coming, right? So let's remove this and go to the home page. Okay, so when I go to the initial page, you can see now that particular uh, UL part is not visible. Right now I can type some IP address, click on locate, and now it is visible. Okay, but still I am not updating this. So let's update this now. So for that, let's come to each place. So this is where I want to display the country and the country code, right? So let's remove this from here, and let's add an echo statement. And here I will say dollar response, and let's see what before that, let's see how the data is formatted. So based on that we will have to do, so var dump dollar response. Okay, so once I do that, let's come down. So here let's comment this for the time being, and let's refresh it, and let's see. So it is an object, and object, because it's an object, it has properties, it has status, it has country. So this is what I want, right? So let's see if I can echo response. Because it's an object, I have to use the arrow, and the key is country. Okay, so let's see if this works, and if I refresh, you can see I get United States, right? Next I want to add the country code with this, right? So I will use the curly braces to put the code over here, code inside this brackets. Then I have to change this to here. So this is the string that, sorry, the method, property which gives me the country code. Okay, so let's refresh, and you can see now I'm getting United States, that is US. So let me add a space over here, and perfect. So now I have this. Now let's copy this entire thing and paste it over here, and here I will say let's go for the next one. Next part is, let's see, where is city? So I have city, so I can say instead of country I can say city, and refresh. Now I get Castro Valley, right? Let's go for the next, that is zip. So here that is zip. So let's copy this and paste it wherever we want to change the data. Okay, so here, and this is the ISP. Okay, so I think this is ISP. Yeah, so this is ISP, so I can replace this by ISP. Then this should be longitude, right? So where is longitude? Is there? Yeah, so it's called LON. So let's say LON. Then this is latitude, so it should be LAT. Okay, so that is LAT. And finally this is zip code, that is ZIP. Okay, so that's it. You can see now if I refresh, now I get the result. Okay, that is it. Perfect. Now now I don't think we need this anymore. Let me comment this out, the var dump, and if I refresh, I get this, right? Perfect. Now one more thing is pending, that is what if I type something like this and send locate? Okay, so you can see immediately you're getting some different kind of a response. Let's see why this is there. So let's save it. So you are not entered an IP address, you have entered something completely different, right? So that is why the message that you got is a status of fail, right? So let's do a response check first. Okay, and then okay, so this was the response when there was a successful resolution, right? Now let's do another query, and you can see when I did that, I still got a status of status key method, sorry, property in the class, and I'm getting success. So I should check this to find out whether the resolution was proper or not, right? So now I am doing is set response, and we should do a check, and I should also check if dollar response, and inside that status is equal to okay. So if it is success, then I would do this. Okay, so this entire thing I will do only if it's a success. Okay, oh sorry, this was object, so it should be status. Okay, so I will refresh, and you can see now if it is success, it does this. Now what if it is a failure? So let's type something completely inappropriate and just submit it, and you can see it does work, but I would rather like to see an error message over here, right? So what I will do is I will just copy this UL, okay, and I will do another else if, okay, I will do another else if, and over here I would say I will paste this, and I don't want so many entries, so I will just keep one of them, and let's say so let's say error. So I can say invalid or incorrect IP address. Okay, so this is what I'm going to reply, and here I have to do a check again. So is set response, I will take the entire code, come over here, and if is set response and response status is fail. Okay, so if response is there but the status is fail, then I will say error, invalid or incorrect IP address. Okay, so this is what I am going to mention. Okay, and I think we also have a message over here, so I can add that to the end so that it looks, it gives me appropriate error. So let's do response, sorry, message. Okay, so that adds to the end of the string. Let's save it and let's refresh. So you can see I'm getting error, invalid or incorrect IP address. Okay, and at the end I'm also getting invalid query. Okay, so that is it. Now I would like to have BG danger so that it looks that there is an error, and yeah, and I could make this color as text light. Okay, so let's make it text light, and this also let's make it light. Okay, yeah, so invalid or incorrect IP address. I think the message is not required, it doesn't, yeah, so this is fine. Okay, so that is showing when there is no incorrect response from the server. And finally I need to have one more. I think we don't need to have another, so let's open the original page and see what appears. Yeah, perfect. So now when we come here for the first time, you can see there is nothing, right? And if I enter an IP address and locate, you can see, yeah, I have to disable this. So let's go on top and comment this out and refresh, and you can see I have my location, right? So let's take some other 220.34.23.12. So let's see what is this. So it is IP address of Japan. Perfect. Now our website or app is working, but now every time I submit the form, the original value gets disappeared, right? So let's see if I can bring that. So this is the place, this is the form, right? So I can do value, and I can do a PHP over here, and I can do if is set dollar get IP. So if that particular IP address is set, I will simply do echo the IP address. Okay, so let's do that. And okay, so it should be outside if, yeah. So I did this, press save and refresh. Perfect. So now you can see whatever whatever text I'm typing inside the text box, even after submitting, it will be still there. Okay, so let's try for 224 and locate. So you can see it gives me incorrect IP address, right? So let's go for 200, and that country is Mexico. Perfect. Okay, so I think that is it. Only thing that I would like to change is if I do an empty string and click on locate, you can see when I do something like this, it actually sends the request with the current request IP address. So whatever is my GEOIP location, that is displayed. So that is also perfect. So if you leave it blank, then you are getting your own IP address location. That is perfect. That's it. So we have easily created a GEOIP app using PHP and a web service, that is ipapi.com. Okay, thank you everyone.